The morning of my sister's wedding was a beautiful kind of chaos. Steam curled from curling irons, dresses hung from doorframes, and laughter spilled from every room of our childhood home. I moved through the house like a quiet current, camera in hand, capturing everything from smeared lipstick touch-ups to our mother adjusting my sister's veil with trembling fingers. I wasn't a professional photographer. I was just the sibling who owned a decent camera and knew how to use it. With the wedding budget tight, I volunteered to help, to take the photos they couldn't afford to pay someone else for. It wasn't a big deal, or so I thought. Until Aunt Denise arrived. She came in like she owned the air, sharp heels, sharper tongue. As I tried to set up a family shot before the ceremony, I gently asked her to stand closer to the bride. She rolled her eyes. "Why are you telling me where to stand?" I opened my mouth to explain, but before I could, she snapped, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Sweetheart, you're just here to take pictures. Don't get in the way of the real family moments." The room fell into an awkward silence. I felt the heat crawl up my neck as I quietly stepped back, camera still in hand, smile still forced. No one said anything, not even my sister, caught up in her own whirlwind. Maybe no one even noticed. But I did. Because in that one sentence, my role had been defined. Not a brother. Not a part of the celebration. Just a lens. An extra. And yet, deep down, I told myself, if all I can do today is capture her joy, then I'll do it better than anyone else ever could. The ceremony unfolded like a dream, vows exchanged beneath a flowered arch, sunlight filtering through the trees just right, and not a cloud in the sky. Through the viewfinder of my camera, I saw the magic most guests missed. The nervous way my sister squeezed her bouquet just before walking down the aisle. The tear that slid down our mother's cheek when she whispered, "That's my baby girl." The way the groom's face lit up like he'd never seen anything more perfect. And I caught it all. But the more I moved through the crowd with my camera, the more invisible I became. Aunts and uncles walked past me like I wasn't even there. Cousins asked me to take just a few more pictures, then walked off mid-sentence. One uncle even handed me his phone and asked me to take shots of him on it, you know, since you're doing photos anyway. I smiled through it. That's what you do, right? Even at the reception, while everyone else danced, I crouched between tables and dodged servers, trying to get the best angles. I caught golden moments, the bride and groom's first dance, our dad holding back tears, kids spinning in circles with frosting on their faces. But no one offered me a drink. No one asked me to sit. Not even Aunt Denise, who looked over once and muttered, "At least he's useful." Still, I kept going. Because while they saw a kid with a camera, I saw the moments my sister would want to remember forever. And maybe that was enough. Maybe I didn't need to be part of every frame, as long as I was the one making them last. The sun had dipped low, casting a soft golden hue over the reception tent. String lights twinkled above as laughter echoed between toasts and music. I was moving through the tables quietly, snapping shots, grandparents holding hands, little kids sneaking cake, my sister glowing in the middle of it all. That's when I saw it, a genuine moment between my sister and Aunt Denise. The two of them were laughing over something, maybe a childhood memory or a joke only they understood. It was rare to see my aunt that human. The light hit just right. Their heads tilted toward each other. Eyes crinkled. For once, she looked warm. Click. I caught it. Then Aunt Denise, noticing me nearby, turned and said with a smirk, "Make sure you get my good side, sweetheart. Not one of your artsy blurry ones." I bit my tongue and gave a polite nod. But as she turned back to her wine, her phone buzzed loudly on the table next to her. It lit up with a preview of a message. Honestly, I still think she could have done better than him. And don't get me started on her brother, always tagging along like a lost puppy. I froze. She had left the messaging app open, a full conversation on screen. Dozens of texts, mocking the groom, nitpicking the wedding, and making digs at me. She hadn't just been cold. She'd been cruel behind our backs too. I stared at her phone, heart pounding. For a split second, I imagined calling her out, showing my sister the messages, revealing the fake smiles. But instead, I quietly picked up my camera again. And deleted the photo of her and my sister. Some moments don't deserve to be remembered. The party roared on behind me, but I needed air. I stepped outside, onto the stone path behind the tent, where the sound of music softened into a distant hum and the stars began peeking through the dusk. I sat on the edge of a planter, camera resting in my lap, heart still heavy. It wasn't just the message that hurt, it was how easy it was for her to type those words. How effortless it had been to reduce my sister's happiest day and my quiet efforts into punchlines. My fingers hovered over the share button. I could have screenshotted everything, sent it straight to my sister, exposed the hypocrisy, the fake laughter, the mocking texts. It would have been justified. Maybe even deserved. But then I thought about the way my sister smiled earlier. The way she looked at Aunt Denise in that moment I'd captured, like they shared something beautiful. Real or not, it felt real to her. That photo, that memory, was pure in her eyes. And if I showed her the truth tonight, I'd take that away. So I didn't send anything. I didn't confront anyone. I just sat in the cool air for a while, holding my camera like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Then I scrolled back to that photo of Aunt Denise and my sister, framed so perfectly in light and laughter, and quietly deleted it. No drama. No revenge. Just peace. Because sometimes, kindness isn't loud. Sometimes it means protecting someone's happiness, even when you're hurting. And maybe that's what family is. Not always being seen. Not always being thanked. But choosing love anyway. The reception was winding down, but the joy still lingered in the air. People had kicked off their heels, loosened their ties, and the dance floor had turned into a blur of barefoot spins and off-key sing-alongs. I stayed behind my camera, capturing it all, the raw, the unfiltered, the real. Just as I was reviewing a shot of my mom dancing with the groom, I heard my name. Danny, my sister called from the mic at the DJ booth, her voice warm and steady. Can I steal your attention for 1 second? The room quieted. I looked up, startled, camera still in my hands. I know most of you have seen him floating around all day, she continued, quietly working, barely taking a break. But what many of you don't realize is that my brother didn't just take photos today. She looked directly at me, eyes softening. He gave me a gift I'll never forget. He caught moments I didn't even know were happening. And even though he stayed behind the camera, he was a huge part of every memory I'll cherish from this day. People turned to look at me. I suddenly felt the warmth of dozens of eyes, not judging, not dismissing, but seeing me. So I just want to say thank you, Danny. For being the one person who always shows up, even when no one's looking. Applause broke out. Real, genuine applause. I stood frozen for a second, then gave a small wave, trying not to choke up. And when I glanced over, I saw Aunt Denise at her table, her smile tight, eyes downcast. She didn't clap. But it didn't matter anymore. Because in that moment, I wasn't just the photographer. I was part of the story. The last song had played, the candles were nearly burned out, and guests were starting to gather their things. I was packing up my gear, quietly satisfied that I'd captured every meaningful moment. Still in the background, still mostly unnoticed, but that was okay. That's when my sister came over, her dress slightly wrinkled now, hair loosened from dancing, but her eyes shining brighter than ever. She was holding a small wrapped box. I was going to give this to you later, she said, but I think now's the right time. I opened it slowly. Inside was a photo, one I didn't recognize. It was me. Candid, black and white. I was mid-laugh, camera in hand, standing just off to the side while everyone else was caught in a whirlwind. The light hit my face gently, and for once, I looked like I belonged. "I took that last month," she said. "You didn't know. I wanted you to see how we see you. Not as a background person. Not just the guy with the camera. But the one holding us all together, without ever asking for credit." I swallowed hard. Words got stuck somewhere behind the lump in my throat. She leaned in, whispering, "You were never just here to take photos. You've been here, really here, through everything." I nodded, unable to speak, but hoping she saw the gratitude in my eyes. We hugged. No applause, no spotlight. Just love. And as I looked down at the framed photo in my hands, I realized something. For all the moments I captured that day, this one, the one I didn't take, would be the one I'd keep forever.